Welcome back to Astrology, Angels, and More. I'm your host, Mary Silvernail, and we are filming today, January 14th, 2026. This is a very special show. Every January, we do the astrological forecast for all the signs, all the astrological signs, and plus other information too. I suggest very strongly that you grab a pen or pencil and a pad to make notes because I'm going to give you a whole lot of information tonight. Now, this show is aired on Spectrum and Fios in Staten Island and also in the Bronx. And we really appreciate our audience, and we would like any feedback from you. At the end of the show is my email address and Brian's email address. And we look forward to hearing from you. So here we go. 2026 is going to be a great, great year. But there's just a couple of things that I wanted to mention that I had written about in my horoscope column that I write every month. And I just wanted to mention a couple of things for January. Okay? So, number one, we had that beautiful full moon. I'm sure all of you saw it at the beginning of January. January the 3rd, we had that beautiful Cancerian super moon. And that was very powerful, especially for any emotions that came to surface that now have started to settle down, thank goodness, within you. So now, January 18th, though, of this month, we're going to have the Capricorn new moon, and that brings a bright new beginning, and it's preparing for your future success. So make sure if you do any little rituals, maybe go down to the water, or just even talk to the moon and draw down the energy of that new moon, because this is all about setting your intentions for the next year. And but anyway, see, we're going to have a whole lineup of planets. It isn't just going to be the Capricorn moon. It's also going, and it's a new moon. So realize you can't see the new moon because it's literally, the sky is all dark, whereas a full moon, it's very bright. But the new moon is going to be aligned with Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Pluto. My goodness, that's some alignment. Very, very powerful. And it's a powerful time now for practical solutions and getting ready for our goals. It's really, even though it's a practical time, it's a magical time where you're going to feel both inspired and ready to put into work to make things happen for you this year. And there's a lot happening this year. And then one other thing I wanted to mention about January, and then we're moving on to the yearly horoscopes. January the 26th. Wow, this is big, okay? Because for the first time in 12 years, the planet Neptune is leaving the sign of Pisces, at which is its natural placement. However, it causes a lot of confusion and a lot of delusion, whereas it's going to be entering into Aries. Now, when it enters Aries, what's going on January 26th, what's going to happen is going to stay in Aries from January 26, 2026 to May 21st, 2038. Okay, so understand that what's going to happen here is the essence of this is a feeling. It really encourages independence and bravery and freedom and fresh starts and many, many things that I have said and said and said, especially for the year. A lot of it came to the surface in 2025, but 2026 for sure, because Neptune will no longer be hiding in Pisces. Many things that are hidden will be exposed personally and globally. Oh, yeah. So now let's get to 2026. What a wonderful year. First of all, for 2026, in numerology, it equals a 10, which equals and reduces down to a 1 in numerology, which means a brand new cycle, a brand new beginning. You see, last year, 2025, we were finishing everything up. If you add up the year 2025, it equals a 9, reduced to a 9. And that it was the year of completion. Now it's a whole brand new fresh start for that lasts the entire year. It's going to start a new 9-year cycle. So see what I'm talking about here? All these cycles coming up. First 9 years. And with Neptune added in the mix, moving into the sign of dynamic Aries, oh my goodness, for the next 12 years. So here it goes. We're going to have a beautiful ride. But now, Brian, if you would be so kind as to put up, there it is, 2026 Astrological Forecast. And now we're going to move into the Mercury retrograde planet. So I hope you have that pencil and pad ready to write down dates. Now, this year, Mercury will be retrograde February 25th to March 20th in the sign of Pisces, which in the sign of Pisces, Mercury retrograde, it can cause a little bit of having a problem making up your mind about things, or you being wishy-washy about which way you're going to go. Best not to make any major decisions during that period of time. That's for everybody, okay? Then the next time is June 29th to July 23rd in the sign of Cancer. So your emotions at that time, there's a sensitivity there that what you say may be misinterpreted and things like that. And then October 24th to November 13th, it's going to be in the sign of Scorpio. So maybe you've been moving along real good and strong throughout the year, and then you're going to find a little bit of a 3-week lull where you feel like you're not getting things done. It's only because everything is being realigned during Mercury retrograde. So now let's see. We're going to move on to the 2026 lunar and solar eclipses. Now, this is Eastern Standard Time. So let's see. The first eclipse, February 17th, 7:01 a.m. That is not visible in the U.S. It is in the sign of Aquarius. Now understand, when we have a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, the intensity is much stronger. But it's like starting a whole new area of endeavor astrologically for us. So what it's going to be ruling February 17th, it's going to be brand new beginnings in independence, breakthroughs in technology, AI, and literally for the collective. Now, let me say this. You heard me speaking about independence and freedom regarding even this moon in January. That's on the 18th, the new moon. Then also, I was discussing it when I was talking about um, January 26th, how we're going to see that which you can really feel it when a planet changes signs, and that's going to happen with Neptune. Now, it's moving into Aries, and that's all about independence. And with what's going on in the world right now, that we have, especially in Iran, you can see how astrology truly is very accurate, because astrology is a science, plus it's an art. However, it is a science, and it's pretty accurate. Now, the next eclipse will be a total lunar eclipse, and that is visible in North America, and it's in the sign of Virgo. So that's going to have a lot to do with fresh starts in health, routines, releasing the feeling of needing perfection. So you'll start to relax a little bit. Now, this affects the entire world, you know. But this is how it affects you also independently, personally. Now, the next one is a total solar eclipse, August the 12th, and that's at 1:36 p.m., and that will be partially visible in the U.S., and that's in the sign of Leo. That's all about creativity. If there's a creative project that you've been holding off on, boy, let me tell you, that total solar eclipse is going to get you moving. Or if you've been having a problem with confidence in your own identity, you'll see effects here of that too. And leadership. Leadership, let me tell you, this is going to play a very, very large role, because what you're seeing now in the world is a lot of changes in leadership. So now we have the next one is the partial lunar eclipse, and that will be in Pisces. And that's August 28th at 12:18 a.m., and it is visible in North America. So this is all about emotional release, your intuition, and spiritual closure of things. This is also that partial lunar eclipse that's happening in Pisces. And also, that's the last one of the year, but the first one of the year, February 17th, that's in Aquarius. Both of those two eclipses have a lot to do with spiritual evolution, your soul's evolution. So, you can look up on the internet even more information as far as exactly where they're visible and all of that, okay? So, and if you see that any of these eclipses are happening in you, especially of your sun sign, moon sign, or rising sign, you should pay close attention to that, because this is where you're going to have very powerful energy moving you forward. And it's always about moving you forward. The other thing is that, if you don't know your rising sign, you should try to find out what it is, and it's simple. You can just ask an astrologer, and all you need to know is your time of birth and your place of birth, and your rising sign. What that is where where the sun was on the horizon when you were born, at the moment of your birth. Now, could you come back to me for a moment? Okay, so I hope you jotted down all these dates, but if you didn't, you can always rewind the program, or I know this program is shown throughout the month and also on YouTube. Just go on YouTube. All the Astrology Angels and More programs, the TV shows, are all on YouTube. You can look them up. So now, let's see. We're going to move now to the, wait a minute. I wanted to talk about this. Now, look, this happened in 2017 and 2024, but this was the Great American Eclipses, okay? And you can go back and look at our programming and go on YouTube, and you can hear many references that I had made to these two eclipses. As you can see, it's a crisscross in the United States. And I explained it in depth on a couple of programs, but especially there's one that I did that was strictly dedicated to the Great American Eclipse. So those programs were aired and they're on YouTube in 2017 and 2024. This is why we are dealing with everything that we are dealing with right now. And if you notice, this 7-year period between 2017 and 2024, within there was, what happened in the COVID happened in 2020 that lasted. So anyway, I'm going to move on now. And here we are. We're going to start off with Aries. Now, I want you to understand that these horoscopes are for Aries sun sign or Aries rising. If you know your rising sign, I want you to also take note of, now say that you're an Aries, but your rising sign, because of the time of day you were born, is a Virgo. Well, then you should take notes on Aries and Virgo and put them together, and it's going to make a lot of sense to you. But anyway, so now Aries, here we are. 2026 is a year for discovering what makes you truly, really happy. New avenues for self-expression can seem to magically open up for you. Neptune and Saturn enter your sign early in 2026. As I mentioned earlier about how Neptune is moving in, that's on January 26th. Because you see, Neptune and Saturn had been moving along for quite a while now in the sign of Pisces. So especially any Pisces or Virgos that have been feeling held back for several years now, it was all about this whole Neptune and Saturn transit. After the end of this month, you're going to really feel a lot better. You're going to have a lot more energy and really have a lot of get up and go, and you're going to start getting things done. But you're moving away from false paths, Aries, that no longer serve you well, or transforming them into more suitable ones. It's a process, and it's about your identity and sense of independence. Here's that word again, independence. It's all about you. Money matters will have an impracticality about unpredictable. Oh my goodness, sorry, unpredictability about them. However, matters of health are very positive in 2026, Aries. Okay, you can come back to me in between, please. Okay, Brian? All right, so now I'm going to move on to the sun sign and rising sign, Taurus. Here we go, Taurus. Okay, I put it up, Brian. All right. Jupiter opens the lines of communication in your life this year, Taurus, which boosts your home and family life. Uranus completes its transition out of your sign, helping stabilize your life in several ways. New interests and learning are powerful, especially in the first half of 2026. Major new projects begun from 2026 to mid-2027 can turn out to be very rewarding, profitable, and long-term. extra time spent on healing and regenerative activities can be most worthwhile this year, Taurus. You know, if you could come back, please, Brian, in between. So, Taurus, you have some beautiful opportunities this year. And the thing is that you have to literally go after them. You can't rest on your laurels, not at all, not this year, because you are dealing with lucky aspects of Jupiter. Always, though, remember to keep home and family life as a priority also. There's a balance there. Okay, Taurus? So now we're going to move on to Gemini. Oh, wow. Uranus moves into Gemini. You know, Uranus is the planet, the major planet of great change. It moves into Gemini in April, and it's going to be there until 2033. It's a year to explore your needs and pursue your dreams. 2026 is a strong year for building and expanding, as well as for learning and connecting. You're moving away from periods of pressure related to your career. See? This is important. Your reputation, accountability, and responsibility, and it feels very liberating, Gemini. You've needed this. You've needed this. Now, in July, Jupiter is trine. Trine in astrology is the luckiest aspect, okay? So now, July, Jupiter is trine Neptune and sextile, which is also a nice aspect, Uranus. Uranus is sextile Neptune and trine Pluto, and Neptune is sextile Pluto. Long story short, big, nice, beautiful changes are happening for you, Gemini. There's going to be change suddenly coming into your life that you're not expecting. Be ready for it and accept it and realize this is truly, ultimately, for your own good. You know, this past year especially, Geminis, you really have been working too hard. And you are going to finally reap what you sow, but you're going to also be able to finally take a bit of a break. Okay, so let's move on now. Here we go. Cancer. Here's Cancer. Okay, Cancerians. Let me tell you, that was your big, beautiful super moon at the beginning of this year. And that was a big boost for all Cancerians and also Capricorns. Cancer rising, Cancer sun sign, and also it affected this past super moon, January 3rd, affected Capricorn rising and Capricorn sun signs. Now, confidence is yours this year, dear Cancerian. You are experiencing life on a new and improved level. Beware, excess can trip you up at a time when you have real solid opportunities to improve your lot in life. A favorable time regarding teaching, publishing. So write that book or finish that book, or having advantages in legal issues. This is pretty important. So if you have a lawsuit going on or something you've been dealing with, maybe within the family of a legal issue, inheritances, things like that. Can you come back to me? Thank you. So, if you notice throughout the horoscopes, I'm really talking about opportunity and fresh starts for this year. The planets are aligned this way in 2026. And when you look at it with numerology, as I said, brand new, beautiful beginnings. Beautiful new beginnings. Okay, so now we'll move on to Leo. Okay, wonderful Leo. So, Leo sun sign, Leo rising sign. Something may surface that brings joy to your life. A personal matter can also stir happy feelings. Notable conversations, news, or even a chance meeting or experience can help you gain greater insight into something that has been frustrating you. This is nice, okay? So now, Leo, from June 30th, 2026 through July 26, 2027, lucky Jupiter, here we go again with Jupiter, is in your sign. This transit lasts a little over a year and comes around only once every 12 years. And you will see that you come out of your shell. It's going to bring you out of your shell. Now, some positive health, career, and financial issues follow in this lucky Jupiter transit. Can you come back to me, please, Brian? You hear me talking about lucky Jupiter, lucky Jupiter, lucky Jupiter. Well, behind me, the background behind me, you could see all the different signs. That's the zodiac chart. And each sign, where you see those lines, what that is, the zodiac chart holds 12 houses, it's called astrologically. Depending upon where Jupiter is, where it falls in your particular stars, what house it falls in, is where you're going to have the most opportunity, luck, and expansion in your life. So even though you've heard me talk about Jupiter throughout with all the signs here, that's really quite pertinent because Jupiter is opportunity. And this year 2026 is all about fresh starts and opportunity. Thing is, though, sometimes, like, let's say Jupiter is transiting through your house of career. Well, guess what? For sure, you're going to have a beautiful opportunity career-wise, meaning that you might have the opportunity to change positions, or you might get a promotion. Whenever Jupiter is going through the second house of money, what that means is that that's a time you could actually hit the lottery. See, Jupiter is very important because it takes 12 years to go all the way around your stars. If you look back on your life and just think back to when things were maybe really good financially, or look back and think about, and that would be when Jupiter was in your second house of money, or look back and see when Jupiter was in your 10th house of career, right? That meant that that was the time you got that really good new job or that promotion. And these things happen in 12-year cycles. Also, many times when I'm doing a reading, I look at the fifth house, and when Jupiter goes through the fifth house, that's when love comes into a person's life. It depends on the aspects of it, but what can happen also is that's when a person could have a child, could have a baby. Yeah. So, but anyway, Leo, you have some really nice aspects this year. Now, let's move on. Virgo. Wow. This is a big year for Virgos as far as associations and expanding networking and connections. Okay, so your connections to others, group associations, and friendships continue to expand and grow. Happiness and goals receive a boost, Virgo. You're feeling confident about the future. This is a wonderful year of manifesting dreams coming true. However, do not take on more than you can handle. See, Virgos do that because Virgos, they want to help everybody and they feel that it's up to them to take care of everything. And usually Virgos feel as though nobody gets the job done as good as them. And many times they're right. However, do not take on more than you can handle, as I said, and be sure to keep in mind your practical responsibilities also. Sometimes, less is more. Now, from June 30th through July 26, 2027, it's a time for looking within, Virgo, learning what your inner strengths are. Especially, here we go, when people from the past return unexpectedly. Please come back to me, Brian. Okay, Virgos, a lover from the past, or a family member that you haven't spoken to in a very long time, or a friend that you had lost touch with, are going to come back into your life, and it's going to be very unexpectedly. And the thing is, during that period of time, you really need to look within and think to yourself, do you truly want, is it in your best interest to have a relationship with this person? Because why hadn't you been in touch for so long? Something must have happened, right? So you just have to really go within and look at the situation and remember what I told you. Many times this happens in 12-year cycles. So let's see, who we going to next, Brian? Libra. Okay. Oh boy, I love Libras. The hard work you've put in begins to pay off, and you reap the rewards. With this comes more authority and, though, responsibility. Now, communication is your theme this year. Now, understand something. A lot of Libras are really excellent writers, artists, very creative people. And also, they make very eloquent speakers. A lot of them, are lawyers, attorneys. Yeah. So, journalists. However, in July, intimate relationships can be impacted by a need for some alone time. Yeah. Seek ways to balance your life in terms of pleasures and responsibilities. So, Libra, don't get too caught up in everything that you're doing and accomplishing regarding your work. Okay? You have to keep that balance in your life, and that's what Libra's all about, keeping that balance in life. That's the lesson that a lot of Libras come back when they reincarnate. And that is the lesson that they need to learn that perhaps they didn't learn in their previous lifetimes, to find that balance. And incidentally, the last time this theme occurred was from, now think back on your life, April 1996 to June 1998, and then again, October 1998 to February 1999. So Libras, you need to, or Libra rising, remember this is either the rising sign or the sun sign, go back and look at your life back in those periods of time. April 1996 to June 1998, October 1998 to February 1999. You see, when these energies come back again, it's possibly a lesson that had not been learned the first time. Scorpio. There's Scorpio. Passionate Scorpions. Yes. In 2026, your belief systems, learn experiences, and hunger for adventure continue to develop, grow, and expand. Anything that a Scorpio does, they do it very passionately, pragmatically. You feel more courageous and spirited as you sense that there's more out there for you to learn and take in. This is a big year of learning, and especially for Scorpios and Scorpio rising. Now, travel and connections with faraway cultures, people, or a wider knowledge base can open up opportunities in many areas of your life. Now, that's including love. Your passion is at an all-time high, and wedding bells may be ringing. Now, Scorpio, this year, there's a very strong possibility that you could fall in love with someone from another land. You see, whether you go and visit outside of your country or if you meet them in your country. But passion is going to be very, very high, and that says a lot when you're talking about Scorpio. But you're going to fall in love deeply and beautifully. Can you come back to me, Bri? Okay. So besides love, understand about Scorpios. When they set their minds to something, oh my goodness, nothing stops them. Nothing stops them. And if you want to keep a secret, if you want somebody to keep a secret for you, tell a Scorpio. They keep secrets all the way, literally, to the grave. But the thing is, they also, many Scorpions, have a difficult time forgiving. That's Scorpio rising, Scorpio sun sign. And many times people with a Scorpio moon, too, because they hold things so deep inside, even deeper than a Cancerian. And, you know, Cancerians have the depth of the ocean as far as where their emotions are rooted. Let me tell you something, Scorpios, even stronger. So now we'll move on, okay, Brian? We're moving on to Sagittarius. Oh, Sagittarius, they're a lot of fun. Teamwork is key this year in all facets of your life. So stop trying to do it alone, Sag, okay? Intimate relationships are getting better and better. Your approach to life with more depth, and others can sense a more serious tone in you. Because usually, you know, Sagittarians, all they want to do, they want to have fun. They love adventure. They love new places to go. You know, a lot of Sagittarians, the work that they do, their careers many times is of travel. But now, beware of taking on too much debt. Be wise when and if lending and borrowing. Very important. Because Sagittarians are very generous people. Unfortunately, sometimes people take advantage of that generosity. Now, this year, Sag, love can be magical, and your powers of attraction run very, very high. This is a great year for you, Sagittarius. It's a wonderful year for love and romance, and you're not going to be feeling so much on the surface. They're going to be stronger and deeper. Because many times, Sagittarians, they move from one emotion to the next. Hard to keep up with a Sagittarius. And travel truly is in your stars this year, Sagittarius, but just beware of your situations with money. You have to really take a strong look at that this year. Yeah. Don't go overboard. And I have to say this, a lot of Sagittarians, not a lot, I shouldn't use the word a lot, but Sagittarians love to gamble, okay? And sometimes they gamble a bit too much. So you have to watch your finances this year, Sag. Now, where are we going? Capricorn. Okay. Oh, wow, Capricorns. And this is Capricorn rising or Capricorn sun sign. Friendship may turn to love. Just go for it. Find more balance between work and relationships. See, Capricorns, oh my goodness, they're workaholics. And you really need to find that balance in your life. You know, a lot of the signs are dealing with that this year, finding that balance, which is absolutely wonderful because every healthy person emotionally and physically needs to be able to find that balance in their life, especially between work and relationships, love. Now, pay attention to your dreams, though, Capricorn, because they can be prophetic. And yes, it's usually the Pisceans that have prophetic dreaming. I've known so many of them, so many Pisces, Pisces rising, even Pisces moon, where they'll dream and literally their dreams come to pass. But with Capricorn, especially right now, the way the stars are aligned, wow, for this year, you can also experience prophetic dreaming. So I suggest very strongly, I mean, everybody should really do this, but especially this year for Capricorn and Pisces, I suggest very strongly that you keep a little notebook and a pen by your bedside, and as soon as you wake up, write down your dreams, because there's a lot of information in those dreams for especially those two signs, Capricorn and Pisces, this year. Trust your psychic impressions. Stop second guessing them, okay? Plus, working through any psychological problems can be compelling and successful. So if you need to go for some therapy, Capricorn rising, just do it. Stop procrastinating. You know, Capricorns do that a lot of times. And many times, all they do is work, and they don't really take care of themselves physically or psychologically. And that's not good. So this is really the year that you could make some tremendous breakthroughs in therapy. And if you've been going to for therapy, this is the year that this will all pay off for you. Now, property and long-term business adventures are very profitable this year. It's time for a back-to-basics approach to your personal life. Home, family, your roots, domestic activities, living conditions, and security. Because sometimes Capricorns are so busy working, they're really not paying attention to what's actually happening home and with their family. And, you know, sometimes they lose track of that. But this year, I feel that you're going to get back in touch with that a lot. This year for all the signs, for all of us, is a time to get back to basics, what really counts in our lives, and start that new beginning. Even if you've been married for many years or in a relationship for many years, or maybe you have friends that you don't take enough time to visit with. Make that time to go out to lunch or dinner with them, or go to a baseball game or whatever, and go out and have a date night with your spouse. This is a very good year for that because you can have a reset button. You have the opportunity to have a reset button in so many areas of your life, but especially regarding relationships this year for all the sun signs. Okay, let's move on. Oh, Aquarius. Okay, now you may find a new job this year, Aquarius. Your work might involve more services or assisting others, and for some, health-related or healing professions can be attractive. Networking brings employment or health opportunities to you. See, this is another theme that you've heard me say many times about a lot of the signs about the networking. Networking is very important this year. Now, whether socially or in business, this is an excellent time for all the signs to do more networking. We need to reconnect, seriously. Relationships and partnerships benefit from expansion and warm energy. Difficult relationships may also straighten out. Now, see, that's what I was talking about. You're going to have an opportunity this year, everybody, to actually hit that reset button in your relationships. Or you may enter in successful new relationships during this period. It's a relationship boosting period, especially where the stars fall for Aquarius. Everything is in your stars. All right, so let's see, Brian. Let's go to Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac. Pisces, this is your year for transformation and expansion in your personal life, and most especially in your career. You have found the balance, finally, that you've been seeking for a very long time. You know why, Pisces, especially? Because the planet Neptune, which causes you to be slightly delusional or, a little confused about things, not being able to be sure about things, finally moving into Aries on January 26th. Now, romance can blossom, but you must take note, Pisces, that this influence is associated with casual dating and exploring romantic possibilities rather than with binding or committed relationships. So have fun in your love life, Pisces. Enjoy yourself. But I really don't see where marriage or engagements are in your stars at this particular time, not in this particular year. Okay? Now we'll have to look at next year to see what's coming. Now, be more cautious about entering into heavy financial commitments and more cautious in general with your spending. Make a budget, Pisces. Sometimes Pisceans, they're the gentlest, most loving, most spiritual souls of the zodiac. But when it comes down to making sometimes realistic endeavors as far as financially, sometimes, they need to just get down to brass tacks a little bit more, be more grounded. So, there it is. There it is. Okay, so that's all 12 signs of the zodiac and also your rising sign. Now, if you're wondering where these particular planets fall in your stars, you need to, seriously, you need to go and seek advice from an astrologer, a professional astrologer. Be careful with that. Be careful with the online little reports you read and stuff like that. It's best, especially, I mean, you're talking about very important areas of your life, decisions people make. I mean, I help people with decisions every day, astrologically. And I've been doing it my whole life, so astrology must be correct because they keep coming back. So, anyway, look, everything is in your stars. And my suggestion to you, as far as each new moon, each full moon, and especially these eclipses, and if it falls in your sun sign or your rising sign that we had gone and talked about before in the beginning of the show, pay attention to that. Pay attention. Also, pay attention about these eclipses because that's when major world events occur. Pay attention to those eclipses. Very important energetic times. Now, one thing I have to say, we had so many things happen regarding, every so often you hear about a tsunami and all of that. That was during the time of Neptune and Pisces. Now, Neptune is moving into Aries. You're going to start hearing more about, unfortunately, a volcano or fires because Aries is a fire sign, and that's what it is. But I really hope that you guys enjoyed your horoscopes for the year. And if you didn't get to write down what you needed to, just go and watch us on YouTube. Watch all the shows that we do on YouTube. You're going to see we have very interesting guests. Every month we have a different guest, and of all walks of life, okay? Sometimes it's an acupuncturist. Sometimes it's an artist. But all our shows are very interesting with very spiritual, metaphysical people. So thank you so much. And how much time do we have now, Brian? Oh, okay. Thank you. Good. Then I can talk about this a little bit. All right. So this particular year, realize the themes that have come up: independence, freedom, right? Watching your finances, your not just physical health. Notice that I mostly talked about spiritual and psychological health because this is how the heavens are looking right now, the energy from the heavens and the planets. Astrology, I view it as God's clock. He's the one who pulls all the strings on the planets and moves them around so that the energy from those planets affect us personally. That's how astrology works. That's why it's very important for an astrologer, always ask your date of birth, your time of birth, and the location of your birth to see where all the planets and the stars were above you at the moment of your birth, and to watch the clock of your life unfolding because it's all written in the stars. It truly, truly, truly is. I really appreciate you watching our show. Brian and I appreciate it tremendously, and we love our audience. And like I said, any questions that you have, feel free to email us. Okay? Both our email addresses are at the end of the show. And I hope you watch us and go back and look at some of those other YouTube videos. I just want to wish you all a beautiful, happy new year and many, 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 many bright blessings. Many bright blessings for this beautiful new year, this year of opportunity. God bless you.